Hey everyone, it's Matthew here, and I'm actually currently snowed in. We got a ton of snow where I'm at, so I figured what better day than today to talk about a watch that I've had for the past couple of years. That watch being the Seiko SKX 013. So this is a watch I think I got back in 2018. It has unfortunately been discontinued. I'll get more into that in a little bit. But the current watch that you can buy that's most similar is the Seiko 5 Sport style watch. It's effectively the same watch. I think they just did a rebranding. They maybe updated a little bit. I don't own one of those, unfortunately, but that might be something I may get in the future. But in terms of the SKX version of the Seiko watch that I own, and I'll be talking about, I think it's a great one watch collection contender. It really checks the bases as a dress watch or as an everyday watch, and quite frankly, it's the most a sports watch, if anything. But for reasons that I'll get into, I think it can be considered a one watch contender. So some background about the watch. It is a dive style watch, so it has 200 meters of water resistance. It has a 120 click unidirectional bezel. This is something that dive watches, I think, often have, and that's, I don't know if it's necessary, but it's really for timing your dive. You can rotate it and you can count the minutes. And the unidirectional portion is the fact that you don't want it to get bumped, and then maybe you'll lose time in terms of how much you're counting, and so that could be a problem. So it's unidirectional for that reason. But it's a functional bezel. It can be used to sort of time things. It's not a chronograph, but it's a useful feature to have on a watch, and it's often on dive watches. Another aspect that really stands out as a dive watch is its legibility. So the dial has these large round indices with a ton of bright illumination at night. So very functional. You can wake up in the middle of the night, pitch black, totally read the watch hours later. Very solid feature to have on the watch. It has a very solid stainless steel case, sort of heavyweight. It gives it some heft, also contributing to the sport style, dive style nature of what the watch is, right? It can really take a beating with that case, and it's just real solid. Seiko also has this very nice feature where they offset the crown for these style of watches to add comfort. There's little crown guards. The crown is obviously screw down. And that just is a level of detail, I think, for comfort. Rather than have the crown sort of dig into your wrist, by offsetting it just a little bit, it just provides that level of comfort. Now, I made the argument that this could be a one-watch collection watch, and some of the reasons for that is that on the case, there's sort of two different variations that they put. So the front of the case is brushed stainless steel, and the sides and back are all polished. So it looks beautiful for the price point. I paid about $300 at the time, and the story is that it was announced that it was being discontinued when I got it back in 2017 or 2018, I believe. And I definitely wanted the piece, and so I said, well, I have to buy it now or I won't be able to buy it. So it made a lot of sense, and I was very happy with the purchase. And it was only later that I realized that it really covers the one watch collection watch. I have diversified. I've gotten some new watches recently, and I will mention why in a little bit as well. There was specifically a reason with this watch that sort of led me to get a new watch and switch my watches up. But the case has two-tone styling, so with the brushed stainless steel, the polished stainless steel, and it came on this Jubilee bracelet, which I think just speaks to the fashion dress watch nature that this watch can be. It was a little bit extra, I believe, but I opted for it. Definitely worth it. Very similar, or an homage to Rolex's famous Jubilee bracelet for sure. That is also two-tone, so the brushed stainless steel as well as the polished stainless steel in the middle. Kind of cheap feeling bracelet, I would say. Not super high quality. This is an entry-level watch for sure. Just the craftsmanship, I think, is just, not at this price point. But in terms of styling, it was amazing. Like, I definitely think it's worth the money for what it is. In terms of the clasp, it has the big Seiko branding on the clasp. There's no micro adjustments. The clasp is made from stamped stainless steel versus something that's like CNC'd or a little bit higher quality. But really no complaints in terms of the strap itself. There's some variation for micro adjustments, but you have to set it one time. You can't just do it on the fly. There's no divers extensions as well. This is something that comes with maybe a little bit higher end watch. Again, just speaking to the entry level nature of what this watch is. In terms of the dial, it's a solid black dial. It has the day and the date feature, and it has this, I think, the really cool seconds hand, where it has that little triangle right in the middle. I absolutely love the seconds hand, very legible. Very bright lume, as I've mentioned, and you know, having owned this watch for the past 8 years, the lume has not really gotten any worse. Something I've been able to, it's been functional the whole time, so definitely won't degrade over time, I think. In terms of the case back, it's a solid steel case back, screw on, and they have this nice little feature of a wave on there. I think that's from a famous Japanese, the Big Wave portrait. They're a Japanese brand, obviously, so it's like an homage to that, you know, part of their tradition. And this, it is a dive watch, so it does make sense. It's within the characterization of what this watch is. In terms of the weight, quite a hefty watch, even for the 38 millimeter version that I went with. So for context, the 013 model of the SKX lineup is the 38 or mid-size watch, and I have slightly smaller wrists, so I preferred that and did not go wrong. Very wearable size. All the features of the larger 007 and 009 variants, just in a smaller package, so something to think about. I don't know if the current Seiko 5 lineup of watches has a 38 millimeter version of their watches. Maybe they do. I'm not quite as familiar with that. Again, I purchased this and have not really looked at the newer ones, but something to consider in the future. You know, I might get a Seiko 5 and talk about that soon as well. Something I might be worth doing. Some other notable features to point out. It does not have a sapphire crystal. It's called Hardlex, and it did scratch for me. Now this, I mean, took years of, quite frankly, abuse. I was not kind on this watch. There are some pretty big scrapes on the case that I made, you know, at various times. So definitely shows its wear. But I think if it was a sapphire crystal, it would not scratch as easily. So that might be something to consider. But really not a problem, because the Hardlex crystal is flat and it's sort of protected by the bezel on the outside. So it's sort of angled and the bezel sort of fills in. So overall, just a very flat bezel dial combination. But very rugged design. So it's not designed where it could get easily scratched, but still somehow I managed it. So that's something to point out. The movement is not great, I would say. It is not able to hack. There's no hand winding feature. It has to be shaken, so if I don't wear it for a while and I have to, you know, get the movement started, I have to start shaking for a while, and I have no idea how long to shake it for. And the reason I stopped wearing it was because it started to become very widely inaccurate. I don't know why, it probably just needs to be serviced. In addition, the bezel also got very gummed up. So I did look up how to remove the bezel, and I did do this. I ended up scratching the case, unfortunately, so that's on me. But there was all just gunk in the bezel. I have no idea why or where it came from. I just think it had built up over the years and wearing it every day. And I cleaned it and it felt really good, but then like a week later it just fell back to being all gunked up. So I don't really know what the fix is there. I don't know if this is true of all bezels. Maybe you just have to take better care of it. You know, I mean, I took this thing snorkeling in the salt water of the ocean, you know, in showers, you know, soap. I don't like, just every time I wore a watch, I was wearing this watch, and so it definitely took a beating. And it never had a problem with the water, but in terms of scratches here and there and the bezel getting gunked up, yeah, that was difficult to use. So over time, I realized I did need a watch that was functional. I have not gotten this watch serviced, so I'll have to look into that. Right now, I'll wear it for dress events. So this is my dress watch. I put it back on the Jubilee strap. I used to always wear it on a NATO strap, so I had several NATO straps. Loved wearing it more as the rugged sort of adventure watch that I would wear every day. And that was how I sort of styled the watch for many years. But now it's become my go-to dress watch, I would say. If I need something a little bit more formal with the metal bracelet, I will go to this watch because it looks great. And again, going back to the one watch collection watch, I think this definitely checks all the boxes. There are some other contenders out there, I will say that. And I think where this one falls, in my opinion, is that it definitely falls more to the utility timepiece. So I loved the diver's bezel for many years when I got it, but now I don't love it as much, I will be honest. It's sort of more utilitarian. I love, I'm currently wearing my Shinola, and that doesn't have the big, indices around the bezel, and then it just feels more of a tool watch, I would say. That's sort of where mentally I sort of think of this watch. Even though it's on a Jubilee bracelet, even though it's my go-to dress watch, I still sort of think of this as a tool watch because it's a diver's watch, and it's really good at that, I think. So, just to sort of sum up my thoughts on this watch, I think it's a great watch to purchase if you still can. And if you can't, I would just sort of, see where the Seiko 5 line takes you. I think it's very similar in terms of design, in terms of the principles that Seiko was going for, sort of checking all the things that you need in a watch, the day, the date, automatic movement, the bezel, for timing things. You can time up to an hour with the bezel. Sort of the comfortable offset crown, the screw down crown, the high water resistance, just the durable nature of the watch. These are all things that you want in a watch, and somehow Seiko all got them into one watch, which for the price point, $300 was about what I purchased it for. I think the current lineup of Seiko 5s are like at the $400, maybe $450 range. It's a little bit more expensive, but this is also, with inflation and whatnot, 8 years later, I think they just got up in price. Great watch to own, so definitely recommend if you're on the market. Yeah, and with that, I'll get back to my snow, so have a great day.